Namaste, and welcome to Tridevi Chamunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. I'm Yamajit, so glad that you could join me this evening for what is going to be the last installment of our Yoga Upanishad series, our satsang and practices going along with these short, sometimes 1 to 2 page scriptures. Tonight we're going to be highlighting the Yoga Shikha Upanishad and the Chulika Upanishad. I'd like to make a couple of announcements first. So this coming Friday at 7 p.m., we'll be doing another final installment of our Kali Nitya's Goddess series. We'll hopefully be doing a fire puja outside and a satsang to the goddess Kali Mita, whose name means measurer. And so some upcoming events with these two series coming to an end. On our Tuesday satsangs, I'm going to begin a new series where we're going to be discussing 4 different forms of Kali that are worshipped in the Kathmandu Valley. This is really drawing from my last book, Kali Meditation, Book 3. So next Tuesday, we're going to be honoring Ma Sveta Kali, the white Kali. And so each of these installments will include some myths or legends around each of these goddesses, their mantras, what sort of things each of these goddesses, each of these forms of Kali is really strongly associated with. So Sveta Kali for our first installment, Bhadra Kali, the benevolent Kali, for the second, Dakshin Kali, the Kali of the cremation grounds, for the third, and then the fourth in the series will be Mahakali, really the sum of the 3. And so that'll be 7 o'clock every next 4 Tuesdays, either live on YouTube or you can join us in person at our temple, 1260 South Xavier Street in Denver, 80219. And then for 2 of our Friday pujas every month, we're going to be looking at a very ancient hymn to the goddess Kali. And this is the hymn to the 12 Kalis, written by the sage Abhinavagupta about 1,000 years ago in what is now the Kashmir state of India. And so each week we're going to be exploring one of these 12 forms of Kali that's outlined in the hymn. Essentially, for each installment, I'm going to find out everything I can about each of these forms of Ma Kali, mantras. We'll be doing a puja for them, and I'll discuss anything else that I can find that's related to them. And this is something that really I don't think anybody has done, at least in terms of YouTube broadcasts before. So I think this is going to be a very exciting series. So definitely some things to look forward to in the beginning in this next month. I want to wish everybody a happy spring equinox, or not spring, fall equinox in advance. That'll be happening tomorrow on the 22nd. So a good time to think about things in your life that are ready to fall away like the leaves on the trees in preparation for something new in the months to come. And so that's something we might think about in our opening puja and also in the meditations that we'll do around these 2 scriptures that we're going to be exploring tonight. So let's just go ahead and begin with our puja. I invite you to sit comfortably with your back straight. Close your eyes. Begin taking some deep breaths. Using this time to center and prepare for the work and the learning that we're about to do. And maybe with the out breath, thinking about something that you're ready to let go of at this time. And with the in-breath, think of that incoming air as fanning a flame of something that you would love to see coming to fruition in these months ahead. And then slowly I invite you to bring the palms of your hands together at your heart center. And we'll open our practice by chanting Om 3 times. Inhale. Jema. I invite you to slowly open your eyes. Om Pavitra Pavitro Va Sarvabhistam Gatopiva Yashmare Pandrikaksham Savyabhyanta Sushi Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah Om Sri Gurubhyo Namah Om Namah Shivaya Om Jayanti Mangalakali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Shama Shiva Datri Svasvada Namostute Jai Tvam Devi Chamunde Jai Bhutita Harani Jai Sarvagate Devi Kalaratri Namostute Jai Ma Kali. So the Yoga Shikha Upanishad, begin with the translator's notes. The yoga meditation technique explained in this Upanishad consists of visualizing the pointed flame in the heart of the third eye, Agnya Chakra, by which it obtains its name. The highest goal of yoga is to be gained through this method. This goal, this peak of meditation, is attained when the yogi sees the highest divine being. The author also wrote this Upanishad a long time ago, probably somewhere between the 3rd century BCE and the 1st century of the Common Era. And he assumed that the reader understood that the sun is situated not in the chest, but the heart of Agnya Chakra, and not in the Venus or heart chakra. When the yogi penetrates through the solar disk of the Agni Chakra, samadhi, union with the divine, manifests. The gateway to this samadhi is the tip of the flame within the Sushumna Nadi, the central channel running up and down the spine. These concepts are also developed in the Katha and the Maitreya Upanishads. Penetrating through the solar disk in order to obtain liberation requires intense awareness and practice. Those students not having the spiritual qualities to perform the fire ritual could begin the practice by reciting this Upanishad at 3 different times a day. This leads to the goal, because the reader will come to the realization that this method is to be practiced, not read about. Thus, the actual practice will begin and the final goal will manifest. This yoga meditation technique leads to the removal of ignorance, the dissolving of karma and karmic bonds, and thus the dissolving of the reincarnating pattern. And we're going to be doing a fire puja later on this week. And a meditational focus on the fire puja is to allow those things in one's life that one is ready to let go of to go into the fire, rather like leaves going into a fire back in the days when people burned the leaves that they raked up, and then drawing from the light and the warmth of the fire those things which are more, those energies which are more harmonious with our lives now at this moment. And so the same can happen during our meditational exercise that's described in this Upanishad. We're going to be sitting with a straight back. Our eyes are going to be closed. We're going to be breathing deeply. And your gaze will be turned slightly upwards toward the third eye and focusing on the light effect that is produced by doing that. And so you can imagine, again, this harmony going into that flame and harmony coming out of it. Anyway, we'll begin the actual reading of the Upanishad. I proclaim the apex of yoga, which is the highest wisdom. That yogi who meditates on the holy mantra Om shall never see his limbs tremble. With hands and feet joined together in standard meditative posture, the yogi should fix his gaze on the root of the nose between the eyebrows, controlling the thinking function of the mind. The wise yogi continually meditates on the mantra yantra symbol Om while he enshrines the highest Lord in the heart of his own Agnya Chakra. So when we do this meditation, something else we can do is as we're breathing in and breathing out, we can silently intone the syllable Om. Upon one pillar, that is the astral spinal column, there are three rivers or nadis, Ida, Pingla, Shushumna, which we've described before, the solar and lunar channels and the central channel. The physical body has five devas, that is the five senses, and nine doors or openings. Those would be the openings to the body. So the two openings to the ears, the two eyes, the two nostrils, the mouth, anus, and urethral opening. Here stands the physical body, which is your temple. In this temple, the yogi should seek the highest apex of yoga. Within this temple glows an astral sun with flame-like rays surrounding it. In its midst is a burning fire like a pointed wick. The larger this flame, the larger the yogi's manifestation of the Lord. This would be Shiva. Repetitiveness of this practice of visualizing this astral sun allows the yogi to penetrate through it to the point of the flame. Then zigzagging upward, the yogi goes into and through the shining door of Shushumna. Finally, breaking into the thousand-petaled lotus, where the yogi now sees the highest manifestation of the Lord. Secondary method. Still, if one is inattentive and lazy and does not see the wisdom of practicing this method of meditation, he can finally penetrate into the highest loka, that is the highest level, by reciting this Upanishad 3 times daily, once at dawn, once at noontide, and once at eventide. I proclaimed that after practicing this yoga of meditation on the tip of the flame, participating in the flame, and reaching knowledge, the yogi finds his holy Lord. That soul who does not or cannot consume the debt of ignorance, even through thousands of births, can behold the disintegration of the rebirth cycle here on earth. Through this practice is the meditation of penetrating the solar disk. Om, this is the Vedic explanation. Om, this is the yoga explanation. Om, this is the Kriya explanation. Om Tat Sat Om, so shall it be. So let's try this meditation. So I invite you to find that comfortable seated position, back straight. If sitting on the floor doesn't work, finding a straight back chair to sit in will work with that just as well. Close your eyes, breathe deeply. Long, slow, deep yogic breath. Letting the shoulders drop away from the ears. And turning your gaze behind your closed eyes upwards towards your third eye and focusing on that light effect. This is the point of meditation. If your eyes tire, you can rest them for a little bit and then bring them back upwards. And finally, as you breathe in, I invite you to silently chant the mantra Om with the inhalation and silently Om with the exhalation. And then take a deep and clearing breath. And go of the meditation. Just take a minute breathing normally and just feeling its effects for a little while. And finally, slowly, when you're ready, opening your eyes. So I found that very relaxing myself. I'm going to ask our attendees here, do you feel comfortable describing your experience of it?
I feel like I almost fell asleep, to be honest.
Yeah.
I did fall asleep, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's very relaxing.
Yeah, that's probably what you needed to do at that moment. Long day's work.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let's look at the next Upanishad and our final one. 10th of the 10 that I readily had available. Introduction to the Chulika Upanishad. And really, this Upanishad doesn't describe a particular practice so much as really the goal that we're striving for in this work. At our conclusion, we are going to do another Hamsa meditation like we've done the past 2 weeks. A little bit longer one this time. The Chulika Upanishad comes from the word chula, meaning the tip or the pointed top of the pillar, what we were focusing on. In this case, the pointed top of the middle passageway of this Upanishad is also known as the Mantrika Upanishad. This Upanishad clearly contrasts the spirit, Purusha, with the matter, or Prakriti, making the tip of the middle passageway the manifesting place for the super subtle matter of the mind. Sattva guna. So the 3 gunas, sattvas, is the lightest, the most etheric, the most spiritual. I want to say a little something about these 2 ideas, spirit versus matter. So typically one thinks of spirit or Purusha as a masculine or dynamic power, and Prakriti, matter, as a more feminine or receptive energy. And it's interesting to note that in the Shakta branch of Hinduism, that is the goddess-centered branch of Hinduism, these polarities are reversed. So Purusha is seen as the more feminine, receptive, and so the goddess is really all of the principles of the guiding principles of the universe, and the masculine is matter under the influence of those principles. So just kind of an interesting little side note there. The spirit resides inside this super subtle nature of the mind, and with this, the use of matter creates its worlds. The deep symbolism utilized here is the child nursing from its mother. The soul infant who drinks the sense objects symbolizes the soul who is the reality. And this is actually a recurring theme in a number of mythologies. I have an Arisan style painting of Ma Chamunda with an infant. And we see similar images with Isis nurturing the god Horus, and even the Madonna nurturing the baby Jesus as well. And so when we look at this image, or an image of Kali on top of Lord Shiva, we are essentially Shiva, and we are essentially, on a spiritual level, dead until we allow that divine power, that divine consciousness to join with us. And that's really the goal of this meditation. So that reality is revealed in a series of deeper symbols, such as the pillar, the wandering ascetic, the bull, time, the vital breath, and the first person. The yogi who claims reality as the life principle attains inexhaustible spiritual food. The yogi who perceives the esoteric reality enters into the bliss void of samadhi. So, the Chulika Upanishad, and it discusses the Hamsa. So, Hamsa is the mantra we've been using the last couple of weeks, inhaling with Ham silently as we inhale, exhaling silently, Sa. And Hamsa translates to mean I am here, or I am that. And it's recognizing that divine presence within ourselves. The term Hamsa also means swan, or some type of bird, flying above the standard worldview. It's the psyche recognizing the transcendent aspect of everything. So the Hamsa, the eternal jewel, radiates flames of fire, illuminates the 8 regions on the heavens. He is called the three-stranded because he seems fettered by the 3 forces of nature, the 3 gunas. He is seen by all. In this case, they're calling it the sunbird, and thus it is not seen as the eternal spirit. When at the time of the earthling's delusion, the dark curtains around the Lord is rent, then the Hamsa is seen in the cave of the stupor of the super subtle quality sattva guna by the attributeless one. The Hamsa as sunbird is not seen otherwise, as when, like an infant, it is fed by the mother of all, Maya, and becomes the eternal 8-fold forms of the Lord of disillusion. So there's this concept, Maya. We're perceiving the material world with our 5 senses, and we can become deluded into thinking that's all there is. We are just these bodies, for example. But in doing this work, we see that which is beyond just the material. The material is just one small aspect of a greater infinity. And that's when we become the Hamsa. And there are sages like Yogananda and Ramakrishna who were given the title Paramahamsa, meaning the great bird or great swan, or highest bird or highest swan. She, matter, feeds the Hamsa again. She brings forth all of the spirit by whom she was covered before. When the cow lows, she cultivates the 3 qualities, the 3 gunas, the black and the white and the red. She milks for the master alone. Countless indeed are the infants who drink from the world of the senses, but only one as Lord, freely following his own direction, is fed by her. Through this thought and deed, the yogi enjoys first the Holy Lord, then the all-knowing milk cow, who is worshipped by all sacrificers. In her they see the great self as the Hamsa that eats the fruits, although he eternally sits motionless, renouncing the duties of the householder or priest. The Rik singers, these are the Vedic scholars, versed in tradition, repeat and utilize their song in all 7 forms. In a series of astral sounds, the Ataryans, and these are again Vedic sages. These would be sages scholared in the Atharva Veda, where the Rik singers, which are mentioned earlier, would be scholars of the Rig Veda, two of the oldest scriptures in the world. The Ataryans proclaim the Hamsa as the superior son of Brigu, who is an astrological scholar, just as reality is the esoteric lore of holy sound vibrations, that is, mantras. Sage Brigu's text proclaims him as reality disciple, spiritual traveler, and supporter, the gray with age, the bull, the Remainer, and the sun god. The text ordains him as time, as the vital breath, as the Lord spirit of consciousness, as the Lord protector of yogis, as the spiritual house, and as Lord giver of spiritual rain. The Lord is praised, and in the formula coupled with the aphorisms of the Atharvans as Parsni, which is the sage of music and dance, as primordial water and the engendering force, and as the first being. As many as 26 mansions are also as 27th mansion. The Atharvans know him as the head. The Sankhyas, those would be followers of dualistic philosophy, the idea is that we are separate from the divine, know him as the attributeless person. They make the Avatyam, and this would be the non-dualist person who sees the divine in everything, visible as the Vyatkam does, and that's those are the properties of the senses. In 24 ways who know him as one, with and without duality, as threefold and fivefold. Through the eye of knowledge, the Brahma, that is the priestly castes, texts, sees the one alone extending throughout the entirety from the high reality down to the world of minerals. As all that moves and moves not is woven in this universe, so also merges everything that reality has bubbles in the ocean. As enter all objects of the world, which become invisible, they merge and emerge again to be viewed as so many bubbles. The wise show with basis that the body is in the soul. He dwells, and that as God, he changes again and again his dwelling thousandfold. The sage, true to holy duty, who teaches this at the time of the death meal, obtains for himself and his forefathers inexhaustible spiritual food and drink. Yea, one who is not a sage, but knows the reality of his spiritual duty, his dharma, his right action in a spiritual sense, dissolves and merges into reality, just as the river merges into the ocean. Om, this is the Vedic explanation. Om, this is the yoga explanation. Om, this is the Kriya explanation. Om, Tat Sat, Om. So again, when we do this work, our goal is to become aware with and unite with that divine consciousness which is within everything. And while we're in that particular state, that samadhi state, also called a turiya state, it can even be just for a minute or two, but it can be like setting this spiritual reset button, and we come back from our meditation with a renewed perspective of our lives and our surroundings. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
So let's do our final humps of meditation. We're going to do this for closer to 10 minutes rather than 5 like we have the last two programs. So again, find that comfortable seated position where the back can be straight. You can have a support behind your back to help with that. Relax the shoulders, let them drop away from the ears. Close your eyes and begin to breathe deeply. And as you breathe in, feeling a cool current of energy going down that central passage from the crown to the root. And as you exhale, feeling that a warmer energy rising through that central channel from the root to the crown. The Kriya movement of breath and energy. And if you'd like, you can turn your eyes upwards towards your third eye and focus on the light. You could also have the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth to connect an energy circuit. And then as you inhale silently, the mantra Ham. And as you exhale, the mantra Sa. Just a slight pause between inhalations and exhalations. And then take a deep and clearing breath. Letting go of the meditation, just breathing normally. And resting in stillness and silence for a while. If anything comes into your realm of awareness, just witness it from a safe and detached distance. Take a deep and clearing breath. Becoming aware of your surroundings again. The sound of my voice and any other sounds in your personal space. Sensation of your body sitting where it is. Feeling of the clothing on your shoulders. Temperature of the air on your skin. Slowly moving your fingers and toes, your hands and feet, arms and legs. Bringing the palms of your hands together at your heart center. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Giving thanks to the Divine Mother, knowing she's with you always. Expressing gratitude to yourself for taking part in this practice this evening. Slowly opening your eyes. And namaste. Nice way to end a busy day. How was it for you?
I was just exhausted, but I felt like it was good. I felt like I was falling asleep. I don't know. I gotta go on a process, John. That's how I do it. I don't get the visuals.
So I want to thank everyone for joining me, either those of you who are here this evening or those who watch this broadcast later. Have a wonderful night. Good night's sleep. A wonderful day ahead. And I look forward to you joining me on Friday for our fire puja to Kalimita. Blessings always. Namaste. Jai Mata Di.
Oh man.